I am Garima Kapoor and you are watching our special series Corporate Titans hosted by the Oracle Marketing Club DME Management School. In this series, we invite distinguished personalities from various management fields to provide their valuable insights to young management learners. Today, we are hosting episode 2 of this series on the theme From Classroom to Boardroom, the journey of Ms. Namrata Kaler. Ms. Namrata Kaler is the founder of Yellow Learning Company and she is a former senior vice president of WNS Procurement. In her career of over 20 years, she has led a team of over 50 professionals in research, advisory, client satisfaction and providing service delivery to global clients. Welcome Ms. Namrata to this session. We are very delighted to have you.
Thank you. I'm pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Alright, so without any delays, I would like to ask a few questions regarding your professional journey since our theme is from classroom to boardroom. So first question to you is, could you please tell us about how your professional journey began? What got you started on the path you are currently on?
Right. So my professional journey actually started back in 2004 when I joined a company called the Smart Cube directly from campus. I had no idea what I was actually going to do in the long run at that point in time, and I just sort of tried to see if I could fit into this company. I stayed there for 20 years. Initially I had thought I wouldn't even stay for more than a year, but it just so happened that I really liked the culture of the company. I thought it was giving me a lot of exposure, a lot of opportunity to contribute, and 20 years hence I think it was one of the best decisions I made in my life. To answer the second question in terms of how I would say that this journey framed up for me, I think it was extremely rewarding in terms of getting me the kind of exposure I needed. It helped me build a lot of confidence, a lot of gravita in terms of the knowledge that I gained. The people that I worked with were some of the best in the industry, so I think it really turned out to be very well for me.
That's great. So as we know that you are founder of the Yellow Learning Company, firstly I would like to ask that the name is very unique. Secondly, what inspired the idea behind starting this company? Was there any specific moment in your life that sparked it?
Let me answer the second question first. In terms of the idea, well, I don't know if there was one moment. It was mostly a series of events that happened. The basic thing that, or the first thing that probably happened was me getting into learning and development at the Smart Cube. I think back in 2019, we did not have a formal L&D function. I changed a lot of roles during my 20-year tenure at Smart Cube. I wanted to get exposure to all sorts of functions. And at that point in time, I toyed with the idea of looking at learning and development as an option. I didn't really think that I would succeed, but I turned out that when I was in the training room, I really enjoyed myself. It was a pleasure interacting with young minds, hearing their perspectives, learning from them as well. And that sort of translated into me training more than 500 analysts over the course of 5 or 6 years at TSE, and I thought that that really was my strong space. I also noticed that when I went to colleges for recruitment and when I interacted with some of the candidates at different colleges, I felt that there is a need for us to maybe look at the education and look at how we can perhaps make it more realistic for graduates in today's day and age. There's a lot of content out there, but I feel that they perhaps need a little bit of guidance in terms of how all of this makes sense in the real world, right? So with that, I thought of doing this, and over time I found my strong space, and I thought that this is something that I should work in. For the name, well, I honestly did not give it so much thought. I wanted to come up with a very simple name that has a ring to it. Yellow happens to be my favorite color. I associate it with a lot of brightness, happiness, and all of those smileys that we see are all yellow in color. It also resonates well with my faith, and that's why I picked yellow. That's the story behind it.
Right, that's good to hear that you aligned the name with your faith as well as something which can be catchy, and we definitely hope it will build into a really good and well established one. You have been into a corporate and then you have started your journey as an entrepreneur now. So according to you, what are the pros and cons of both the sides? Since you're witnessing entrepreneurship now and you have witnessed corporate journey for a longer time. So what are those pros and cons according to you?
Right. Still early days as an entrepreneur, so just trying to test out the market and seeing where I'll find my footing. But I think there are pros and cons to both, right? And really depends on where you are in your career or what do you want to do in the future or how satisfied you are with your job, right? Getting in a corporate job, I think the foremost and something that everybody probably would say is that you have a fixed salary that comes into your account every month. So that's a huge pro in the corporate space. It also provides you a lot of learning, I would say, and depending on the kind of environment you are in, it can really sort of encourage growth in various people, depending, of course, on the context of the organization, of your field, and how well you're how much hard work you're willing to put in. From a entrepreneurship perspective, I think you're your own master. I think that's the huge pro. Ever since I started on my journey, I think not one day has felt hectic to me because I love what I'm doing and I want to do this, right? So if that comes from within, I think that job satisfaction, again, depends on context that you are operating in, will be a huge pro for it. Well, there are cons in terms of you have to be a little bit, risk taking. You have to sometimes look at days, there are good days and there are bad days, and you have to just look at them as days, right? And keep moving forward. I feel in retrospect everything is easy, but when you're on the journey it will be tough. It was tough even when I was trying to prove myself as a young analyst at a company. So I think it would be similar, but let's see how it goes from here.
Right. So to continue with the previous question, starting something from the scratch is never easy for anybody. So could you share some insights regarding what is one of the biggest challenges, or what are some of the biggest challenges that you're currently facing since you are at the start of your journey right now?
Okay, right. So, well, because the journey is just started, I would say that there are a lot of learnings for sure, right? One of the things that I find, and again, it depends on your personality and how you are, and how do you adapt to the market, etc. So it depends on a lot of things that will need to be contextualized. I'm talking about my own example, just giving it to you from my experience. I think as an individual, I come from a place of trust for a lot of people, right? I happen to put faith in a lot of people in terms of what they would be looking at. I guess I was in a very protected environment in a company that sort of held its ground and let me do what I wanted to. Just coming out of that environment now, I think the world is not as trustworthy as it looks like. So you have to weigh your options. You have to make sure that you're looking at things rightly. I read somewhere in the morning today that the line of people who are willing to help you may be long, but the line of people who actually end up helping you will be very, very small, right? So you have to see who are the people who are actually willing or actually going to help you more than willing to help you, right? So those are some of the challenges, just navigating different personalities and trying to adapt to the big world over there.
Right. So you have been an economics graduate, right? So I would like to ask you, how has your educational journey shaped your professional path?
Right. Well, again, like I said earlier, in retrospect, it looks like, a lot of thought would have been given, but honestly, it wasn't really. Um, I studied economics, and I then went into a company that was doing research and consulting, right? The concepts definitely helped. I think knowing that there are these concepts that impact businesses across the world. There are macroeconomic factors, microeconomic factors, etc., and how global economies interact with each other. However, I would say that all that knowledge was very textbookish. When I actually came into the industry, I had to understand what play do these forces offer in a real world scenario, right? Nobody was there to sort of guide us and tell us that. We had to learn on our own. Back in the day, like we were chatting earlier, there was a lot of exposure to information in the form of newspapers, magazines, etc., that we were mandatorily required to read, right? So I think that also helped connect the dots quite a bit. I think it's slightly different now, even though we have a lot of access to information. What we are consuming perhaps is not the best of information, and that leads to a further lag. So I guess it really depends on how you're able to use your knowledge and your education. I tell this to everybody that I interact with, all the college candidates, to keep understanding the concepts, how they apply in the real world scenario, not just have go over them during exams and just finish them off. It's important to know how they apply.
Right. So, moving to a little personal question, looking back, what is something that makes you feel genuinely proud on yourself? Maybe a milestone or achievement in the eyes of you, which makes you feel really proud on yourself?
Okay. Well, I think I have a long way to go before I can say that I'm proud of something or something that I've achieved. I think it's still a very long way to go for me. But if you were to ask me, I think, like I said, over my course of past 6-7 years, I've trained more than 500 analysts, and somewhere I feel that I've left a part of me in each one of them, and that makes me feel really wonderful. A lot of them come and talk to me about the things that they learned during our interaction, or how it helped them in their careers at different fields. I think that's something that would probably be something that I will carry with me for a long time. That's something that I can take away, really.
That's really wonderful. Lastly, what is one piece of advice that you would like to share with the young minds, or to those who are just starting their professional journey, or who wants to start their career? What is that one piece of advice that you would like to share with them?
Right. I think I touched upon that earlier. So, in terms of advice, I think my sincere advice to them would be to consume the information that is really relevant for them, right? Not to say that they must not, sort of disengage and look at other things from an entertainment perspective. But it is very, very important in today's day and age to be on top of things that are happening across, right? What will set you aside from others will be the fact that how in tune are you with the industry that is that you are in, right? Or you are trying to build your career in, right? If you appear for an interview in a company and you know nothing about that industry, then that may not sell very well with the interviewer, right? So it's very important that you use the information or all the platforms these days you have, such as this one, to your advantage, right? Reach out to people. It is very easy for you to have that interaction. Like I'm very happy to get queries from students in different colleges, and they can reach out. Only day before yesterday, one of the students reached out to me saying that this company is visiting my campus. How can I prepare better? So I spent 15 minutes on a call with him, because he reached out to me and I spoke to them, right? So I think it's important that you have those conversations and use the platforms that you have, use the networks, use the information sources that you have to build on it. That be very important going forward perspective.
Right. So I think this is it by my side. Thank you so much for joining us today in this series and sharing the invaluable insights which will definitely help students out there, the young management learners who want to pursue their career in the management field. So I think that would help them a lot. Thank you so much for being with us today. On this note, we conclude today's episode of the series Corporate Titans. Stay tuned for the next episode. Keep watching DME TV.